What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Inside Lines podcast, where we celebrate incredible women in and around sports. I'm your host, Atoya Burleson, and let's dive into the latest happenings this week. First up, it's time for Let's Talk About It, where we break down the latest headlines that you should know. The Eagles and the Bucks are at the top of the NFL, along with the Seahawks and the Rams on the NFC side. The Packers throwback uniforms, as y'all saw, were not the best. Along with the game, I would just give the Packers uniforms and that game an all-around meh because it did not look good. Meanwhile, the Colts remain at the top of the AFC, and the Chiefs would not make it into the AFC playoffs if we were looking at teams today. So we will see how they shape up in these next few weeks. The Vikings beat the Lions and the Bears beat the Bengals as rookie tight end Colston Loveland had yet to score in his rookie year, but that changed quickly as he scored 2 TDs, with one of them being the winning catch against Cincinnati. Congratulations. That's pretty amazing as a rookie. And then Caleb Williams was not only throwing TDs, but he was catching them as well. So congratulations to him for getting a receiving touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, can we talk about it? He continues to ball out. You know, he was hurt earlier, but he came back and he's killing it. Keep going, Christian. We're all cheering you on. And let's give a shout out to the person that often gets overlooked. Kicker Cam Little of the Jacksonville Jaguars hit a 68-yarder for the win. And that is now a record. Congratulations to Cam Little. And the Saints are now 1-8, and the draft order is beginning to take shape. So we will see what the NFL draft of 2026 looks like in these next few weeks real soon. Okay, our next segment is called Make It Make Sense, where we tackle everyday curiosities and questions. Now, my question is this: why do fans pay all of this money? They tailgate, they buy tickets, they come to the game, they cheer their team on, and then they leave early when disappointed. I mean, shouldn't you stay until the end? That's how I feel. Like, at least, I get it. The last few minutes, you're trying to get back to your car and beat the traffic. That's fine. A few minutes is fine. But fans that leave like halfway through the game or leave, even halfway through the fourth quarter with so much time on the clock is mind-boggling to me. Y'all spend all this money just to leave early. And I know what you're going to say. Well, I should be able to leave when I want to because I paid for the ticket. You're right. But I'm thinking as a player, you're out there giving your all. And then for people to just walk out when it's not even over, like, we're out of here. That's probably very mentally defeating to them. But I'll give y'all a pass, okay? If it's cold out, like if you're in Chicago, if you're in Green Bay and it's freezing out and you want to leave, totally get it, because there comes a point in time in the body where I just can't take it anymore. Cold is not my friend. I don't do cold. But other than that, if you're warm, if you brought all the hand warmers and the feet warmers and you're drinking the drinks, sit there and relax. It's like a marriage, right? Through the good and the bad, you have to endure. And finally, let's talk about stirring up a good debate. It's debatable is fun for me because I love to see what people think. So what I did was I reached out and said, okay, the fall is all about the holidays, right? You have Halloween in October, you have Thanksgiving in November, and you have Christmas in December. So I did a survey and I asked people, in what order would you rank the holidays? Coming in at number 1, we'll just start there because I think that's the obvious one. No surprise, it's Christmas. Everyone loves Christmas. It's the decorations, the nostalgia, the music. Number 2 was close, but surprisingly, Halloween was number 2. I think that as a kid, the nostalgia of putting on a costume and trick-or-treating is really fun. And adults get to enjoy it as well. I know we do at Burloween, so we love a good Halloween. But third was Thanksgiving, which is so sad because Thanksgiving is even the lead up to Christmas, the food is kind of close to the same. And Thanksgiving is just one of those holidays where it's about being thankful. It's about being with your family. It's like a wholesome, humble holiday. And the fact that it ended up third was a little sad for me. I don't know if I would swap Halloween and Thanksgiving or not. I have to think that through a lot. But it does say a lot about America and holidays that the most humble, wholesome holiday ended up ranked at number 3. I mean, what can you say? It is what it is. Y'all let me know. How would you rank those 3 between Christmas, Halloween, and Thanksgiving? What is your ranking? I'd love to hear. Okay, but for now, let's get into our next guest. Here you go. On the podcast today, we have CEO and creative director of Stapled LLC and Stapled Events, a company that plans events nationwide for top brands like Under Armour and the NFLPA. She is also an entrepreneur recognized in the Black in Events Top 100 Event Curators. And did I mention she was the president of the NFWA? Please welcome to the show, Amber Staples. Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to have you because you are so well-rounded, and I just want people to know more about who you are. So tell us, you've had this full corporate career, and before stepping into entrepreneurship, how did you decide what you wanted to do, and then how did you shape your perspective, like compared to other NFL wives?
Whew, that is a loaded question. So yes, I did have a corporate career. I was actually at a director's level. I was the director of business development prior to me deciding to step out and go full force with my company.
Okay.
Everything I learned, everything that I have used to build a successful, this year will be a 7-figure business.
Come on.
Everything I use, I learned in corporate. So, while my journey was definitely a bit rocky, I dealt with discrimination. I dealt with, just feeling unheard and unseen as a woman of color at a director's level amongst, quite frankly, a bunch of white men.
Yes.
I was the only person of color in my position at that level. And additionally, I was the only woman.
Wow.
And I felt that in my previous company. So I will say, even though there were some adversities I had to overcome, it really shaped the businesswoman I am today. Okay. Our mission for Stapled Events is to build events that are accessible to the community. So we team up with organizations like Teamwork Inglewood, who literally are rebuilding the south side of Chicago. We team up with First Repair, who is the symposium. They throw a symposium that brought reparations back to the U.S., that literally are giving money back to Black communities. So teaming with these organizations is very mission driven for us because we have always been community driven. But yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think people knew that, Amber.
Oh,
I didn't know that either.
And that's why we're here today.
Yes.
Yeah, it's huge. Reparations, it started in Evanston. Robin Ruth Simmons actually started this movement. She was a congresswoman, and she said, we deserve reparations. So it definitely hit public media that Evanston was the first city to successfully build a reparations plan for their Black community. It has since become a nationwide movement. We were a part of their national symposium as of last year. This is our second year with them planning this symposium, 3-day symposium in December. And it's definitely something that we are very passionate about at Stapled because we have such a strong community initiative with everything that we do and every event that we plan. Just again, making it so events are accessible to the entire community. And I grew up on the south side of Chicago, okay?
Right.
I was on the 79th Street bus where you couldn't wear your change, you couldn't wear your nice backpack because you never know who's going to get on that bus.
Facts.
Want it. I grew up in that neighborhood, and I remember the local cleaners, the local candy store girl, where, back in the day, we would just run down the street to the candy store. It was nothing. We didn't worry about, any violence. And the candy store was in her house. We could just go up into the random lady's house and know we'll be okay.
Right.
We can't do that anymore. Those businesses are now closed. The flower shop we knew the owner for 30, 45
Yes.
plus years. It's now closed. So there definitely is a huge community-driven mission with what we do. And then also showing our community, we don't need a seat at the table. We have the power, we have the wherewithal to build our own tables. And that was something in my corporate life I really struggled with. I wanted to sit at that table so badly. I wanted to prove to everybody around me that this young Filipino and Black girl from the south side of Chicago could be this boss in corporate. And little did I know, I would just be a boss to be a boss. I didn't need a boss to be a boss in corporate and to be liked and understood and accepted by my corporate peers.
I love that you decided to make that pivot, because a lot of people really struggle with leaving corporate. I mean, you talk about all that you did with navigating the travel, the trade shows, all the demands that corporate life throws at you. When was enough enough? And when did you decide, okay, it's time for me to do my own thing?
Oh my gosh. So I actually started this business while still working. And because my work fueled my passion.
That's right.
And I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. When my husband was the president of the NFLPA in Chicago, he kind of opened that door for me to start planning some stuff with the NFLPA. And so me being a business-minded person, I started my LLC and put a business behind it.
That's right.
And that said, it got to a point where I couldn't juggle both. But there was this fear of leaving the comfort of my corporate job, right? I'm at a director's level. I'm traveling. I mean, they got me to gold status on United, okay?
Right.
Everything was through the same airline, the same hotel. We were getting points. We were using those points to go on our vacations. And I had a 6-figure job. It was very scary to leave. I remember I was in a meeting and I literally was almost in tears. I left out that meeting. I called my husband and I told him I couldn't do it anymore. I had come up with this entire vision, this entire idea to help retain customers, increase our customer retention in the company. I told it to my VP at the time, who then brought it up at our directors meeting and gave the credit to somebody else.
Oh, no.
And the guy he gave the credit to knew it was my idea, looked at me weird, like, what is he talking about? I looked at him. I'm like in fear of my job. Like, I can't speak up because I'm going to get in trouble. This is our vice president in front of us. And so I don't speak up. And I felt so minimized. I felt so unheard. I felt used. I felt unseen. I felt unappreciated. And those feelings fueled me. I was angry. I was sad. I was so many emotions that I had to process while still having a full workday ahead of me. And I just remember I had to take a break. I walked outside. I called my husband. I was in tears and he said, come home. And I literally went home. I left early. I said, I'm not feeling well. And I went home because I felt like they took it away from me. Like they took something that meant so much that I literally built. And at that point, I realized, like, I got to start changing. I got to start making a new path for myself.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I stayed with the company. I still stayed for a little while before I was like, you know what? I'm stepping out on faith and it's time and I'm going to do it. And failure was not an option. No matter what, I had to hustle. I had to do it because we still got bills. We still got a life,
right.
So
100%.
I just had to. I had to step out in faith.
What would you say in stepping out in faith? Kudos to you for deciding to do that. And I know that that's not easy. But when you finally step out in faith and you're walking in your purpose, what would you say as you navigate that? Because people they only see the good, the glitz, the glamour. But we all know behind the scenes, it's a lot of work, okay? What would you say within the first 2 years, what were the biggest obstacles you would say for you?
Oh, okay. So it's going to sound weird, but one of the biggest obstacles I had to overcome was being okay with failing. And for me, as a perfectionist, as somebody who was always at the top of their game, I mean, I was always like number one, top person, getting awards in corporate, and understanding that wasn't who I it was who I was, but in a different way. It had to take a new form, and it was like a baby learning to walk again.
Yeah.
And I say that because with Stapled Events, you know, we put a lot of money into it. I mean, and thank God for my husband. Thank God for him, because he opened up that door to where I felt safe enough to be able to spend our own money and put all of our efforts into building this company.
Yes.
And when it wasn't profitable initially, it was like, what am I doing? I remember I would look at my balance sheets for events and be like, holy crap, I didn't make any money. What am I doing? What am I doing? Like, I remember being on Indeed, like looking up applications for directors roles, because I'm like, I got to get money in. It's not going to work out. And I had to understand, you know, it was actually my aunt who, she started so many businesses. She lives in San Francisco. They're in the tech space. And she literally told me, she said, you thought your small business was going to be profitable in the first year? And she had to, it was like a wake up call. She said, this is normal. You got to chill out. And she just kind of guided me through business and, you know, building the business and what it takes and, you know, the investment, when we should start making a profit, looking at my price point and increasing my price point to match my demand, to ensure that we were a profitable business. So after that first 18 months, we became profitable very quickly. Another thing I want to say that I did have to overcome as well was comparison. I compared myself to other business owners a lot. It made me feel like I was inadequate. It made me feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, am I going to be successful? Is this really going to work? There's so many other amazing event curators here in Chicago. What makes me different? Why would people book with my new business, with my little baby? Why would they want me over these other people? And I had to block that noise. I had to stop telling myself that, because it ordered my steps. It changed the way that I approached business and the way that I spoke to my clients. It made me kind of lose my confidence. Yeah. So that is something that I really had to intentionally tell myself, like, Amber, you're enough and you got
That's right.
this.
That's right. And then you also realize, you know, in business, a lot of it's about relationships.
Yes.
What's your philosophy when it comes to building lasting relationships, not just with clients, but also brands, and making sure that you guys are locked in? Because obviously they tell us, like, you don't want to do something, you don't want it to be a one-off. You want it to be something that's lasting. How did that come about for you? And when did you decide, this is how I'm doing it?
Absolutely. So my mantra is, a successful business owner knows how to build great relationships. Yeah. That literally is what, it's not, you know how to sell a company. You're not the marketing genius of the world. You're not, no, you know how to build relationships. So for me, coming from a background of client retention and branding, I already knew that making sure customer service was at the top of everything that we did, was at the forefront, would be important. And I already placed that importance on client retention. So even early on, when I was planning events at my dining room table, and it was a team of me, myself, and I, and my assistant husband, who would help with the heavy lifting sometimes, I still went above and beyond to make sure the customers felt important. I still would pick up the phone, call the vendors I want to work with, and build that relationship with them. There was also a loyalty aspect from a customer standpoint and from a brand standpoint with other brands. My florist is the same florist I worked with when I started this business in 2018. My rentals company, I'm now actually invested in their company, and I'm a partner in their company. So now I can rent the rentals on behalf of Stapled Events. So, you know, when you build these relationships, our pricing has never increased. If I have a last minute client that wants an event tomorrow, mountains will be moved to make that happen. And that's just because of the relationships we've built. Even on a, social media standpoint, I was just telling my friend, like, we haven't had a social media coordinator in a while. We should probably get one. And I never realized that, because we haven't needed one in so long. because the client retention is so high. You know, we're getting referrals. I saw you did so-and-so's event. I want you to do mine. You know, so-and-so sent me to you. And our return clients that we haven't even needed to invest in marketing lately. So I always say, you know, any successful business owner, you know how to build relationships. You know how to manage relationships and how to sustain them. Sustaining them, especially in the league too. You know, we get so many relationships when we're active. We have to sustain those relationships, because once you retire, those relationships, boy, do they change.
Yes,
so
amen to that.
It's important to nourish them while you're in it, while you're active, while you have this visibility, and to constantly be in contact with those relationships.
That's so true. I think about, you know, even having a business of my own, and, you know, relationships are everything. You know, the people that you meet, the way you kind of discuss things, how you get along, all of those things really matter. It's kind of to the core of who you are. How would you say, you know, from corporate life to now business, all of the different things that you have going on, how does it all tie into who Amber Staples is?
It is me. That sounds crazy, but it literally is me. I am someone who's always all over the place, always balancing multiple things at once, which we could get into the word balance, because that's not real.
Right.
You know,
it's not.
It literally, I have always been that person. I have numerous things going on. I'm always building relationships. I'm trying to, you know, figure out what's next for NFWA, what's next for Stapled Events, what's next for my husband, even helping him with his new identity beyond football. What's next for my baby? You know, like he recently just got diagnosed as on the spectrum, and I'm like, okay, I'm in mommy CEO mode. What do we need to do to support him? What do we need to do to make sure that he never feels different from all of the other kids?
Yes.
So I am like, all of these things make up who Amber Staples is, right? Like I'm a boss, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a president, I'm a friend, I'm a leader, I'm compassionate, I'm human, I make mistakes, I fail, I trip, I say things that I don't mean, I have a witty tongue, right? I sometimes cuss on podcasts, and I'm sorry because I didn't mean to do that. Like, you got to edit me out sometimes. You got to beat me sometimes. But, you know, it's the realness and the rawness of who I am. I show up as me in everything that I do. And over time, especially going through what I went through with corporate America, I learned that showing up as me is more than enough.
Yes. Amen to that. And, you know, I think about all that you are doing, and you mentioned a little bit, you know, on the motherhood side, there is no such word as balance. How is it for you when it comes to mom guilt and giving yourself grace?
It is so, I still, to this very day, I still have to deal with that, right? Mom guilt, wife guilt, that's a thing too. You know, not feeling like I'm pouring into my hubby enough. You know, my son will be coming into my office like, can we go outside? Go outside. And I'm like, ooh, mommy got a meeting. I can't, you know, like, sorry. Or having to, you know, drop him off at my mom's because I have to go to this event or I have to do that. What I learned though is, as moms, we just have to give ourselves grace. Yeah. We have to. You know, we do so much, we try to balance so much, we try to be so much, show up as so much, and a lot of times we're not showing up for ourselves. Sometimes, you know, we're not helping and nourishing ourselves, and that's on the totem pole too. Yes. That needs to be important too. That needs to be prioritized, because if you're not taking care of yourself, it's very impossible to take care of everything else around you. So when my mental is like all over the place, I can't show up and be the best mom, the best wife, the best business owner, and the best everything. So I give myself grace. I rely on my team, my village, as much as I can. And I understand that it's okay, because my mom loves my son probably more than me, to be honest. You know, my hubby loves our son deeply. It's okay if he has to stay with him for a few days. It's okay if mommy has to go travel and you have to be with dad for a couple of days. That's okay, because by traveling, by working, by doing the things that matter to me, that are very important to me as well, well, I'm pouring into myself. I'm taking care of myself and my mental so I can show up as a mom and I can show up as an amazing wife for my hubby.
So true. You're also, I mean, there's just so many layers to it. You're also the founding member and now president of NFWA.
Yes.
What was the vision behind you launching the organization?
Yeah. So when our founding board got together, we really had a real conversation. We sat down on a Google Meets and we said, there are amazing organizations out there. Ladies Playbook, Off the Field, like all of these amazing organizations. We don't want to cause a divide. We want to fill a niche. But what is that? We're like, What is that niche? What are we filling? What is something that means something to all of us to where we feel whole and mission driven? Because we didn't want to just create a group where we're just getting together and celebrating women. And we all started talking about our experience in the league. What's funny is throughout all of our conversations, I mean, we have a member who's 6 years in the league. Our vice president's on year 15. I'm retired. Our treasurer is like 15 years retired. And through all of these different walks and different paths, we all felt that there was a ball dropped in supporting the wives through the transitional periods of the league, whether it's going from team to team, or, my hubby was a starter and now they're drafting someone in the first round in his exact position, which all of us know what that means. Or even just transitioning, the big transition from active to retired. We felt like the resources, the support, the mental health support was just lacking. And we said, that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to help women through these transitional periods to help them navigate those transitions within the league. And through that mission and us really staying true to that mission, we started the Wife Fund, which will help any family. It's like an emergency relief fund that will help any family in need that is in financial need. A lot of us on the board, we've been there, right? Like your finances drastically changed. Let me tell you, them active
100%.
contracts, all of my ladies who are listening right now, do not take those active contracts for granted, because boy, do things change, the financial relief, the mental health resources. One of our board members is also a therapist, a licensed therapist. The marriage resources, right? Like for us, especially, retirement affected our marriage. My husband trying to find his new niche, his new identity outside of football. I always say there's no amount of money in the world that can help a man as he's trying to figure out his identity. There's no amount of money in the world that could help that.
Because it's like the light's off. Yeah. And then you're fumbling around in the dark trying to find the new light. Where is it? How do I turn it on?
Exactly. And then these guys are playing football all their lives. They're being told when to show up, what to wear, where you have to be, what you're going to eat, what your workout regimen is. They're like literally regimented their whole life to now it's like, well, here you go figure it out. And, a lot of us are blessed to kind of help to build that. And that's what our mission is, the things that we wish we could have told ourselves, our younger selves, we want to tell you guys. We want to help the community, help you guys to plan for these transitions. So when they happen, it doesn't hit you hard.
What would you say to women that have not began the process of planning for life after football? Because a lot of people, to your point, wait till it's over. They don't think it's ever going to end, and it abruptly ends. And so what would you say to those women? Because typically, even in these situations, when it affects them, it affects us too. And so what would you say to them that like, we haven't even started doing anything? How would you, what's the first thing you would tell them?
So I think that's a threefold. I would first of all start by saying, when you're in it, take advantage of it. This is going back to relationships. This is the time that you nourish those relationships. This is the time that as much media that you can do. If you're getting asked to, speak on this podcast or do that now. Do that now, because right now you have these relationships. You have the top platform in the U.S. The football, NFL is the top sport in the U.S. You have the top platform that you can utilize to your advantage in the U.S. So little things matter. Someone's asking you, hey, come speak on my local radio show. That matters. Someone wanting to do a podcast recording with you or do an Instagram with you. That matters. Do as much as you can now and take advantage of it now. Also, find what makes you happy. I stopped working in the league. Little known fact. I stopped working for the last few years of Justin's career before I went back to corporate and then started this business. But, you know, when he was active, it was like all about football. And I found myself, I was happy for sure. It was a good time. I'm not even going to lie. You know, it was a good time. We went to a lot of brunches, was working out every day. My body probably was the best it ever was. It was definitely a good time. But then once football ended, it was like, whoa, who is Amber now? Because I was a football wife. Yeah. And now who is she? Now who is she? I wasn't the boss in corporate anymore. I let all of that go to make my life focus around football. Yeah. So figure out what makes you happy now, because it is a lot to balance what makes you happy and while also trying to support your husband when he's figuring out what makes him happy. That is a lot to take on for anybody. That is a lot of weight to shoulder. Absolutely. So even if you're not starting that business now, you're like, we're moving a lot. This is too much. Or I got the kids. It's too much. Try to figure out what that is. What makes you happy outside of football? And then maybe do the little things that you can do now to go ahead and go after that. You want to be a nurse. You like taking care of people. Maybe start taking online classes now. You want to, you like doing nails. You want to be a nail tech one day. Start that LLC. You could do that online. It's super easy. Technology has made life so easy for us. So easy, girl. You could literally have an AI assistant write out your business plan at this point. We didn't have those tools. You know, I'm showing my age.
We sure did not.
We didn't have that. We had to be creative. We had to write. You guys have so much at your fingertips now. Amen. Every person should have an LLC. Every person should be able to just start as small as you can and then build from there. Because once you start, there's this momentum, this gas that kind of hits that keeps you wanting to go and go and go. And you taste a little bit of success, you're going to want more and more and keep going, keep going.
It's so true. What would you say has been the most powerful moment for you since starting NFWA?
Our board is really my strength with this organization. You know, when we started this, we were in a time of transition ourselves, and we didn't know where this would go. You know, it was very scary. I mean, we started with zero. We had 10 followers. All of our board members, 10 followers on Instagram. And we're in an age where those kind of things matter. Yeah. You know, your followers, that matters. That dictates your support. And we just did not know what would happen. I'm telling you, I am so proud of our board overcoming adversities, fighting through and fighting for NFWA. We have achieved so much in this short amount of time. We have opened so many doors that we never thought could ever be open. I mean, we just did a partnership event in Miami with the NFLPA at the Summer Getaway, which was huge for us. And we never thought any of this could be a possibility. You know, I prayed to God that if I'm not supposed to be here, take me away. I said, girl, I'm telling you, I'm intentional with my prayers. God knows exactly what I want and need.
That's right.
I said, listen, I'm stressed. It's a lot. I already got a lot on my plate. Yes. I don't need to be here. Go ahead and take it. Tell me. Let me know. And every time I would pray that, a door would open. We would get big news. A partner would come on that we didn't expect. And so, you know, out of everything we've accomplished, the Wife Fund, our membership, like all of those things, they're great. The most proudest I am is of this board. The ability that we have to withstand and overcome all of these adversities, stand and rooted in our mission and in sisterhood, because that really is why all of us got together. Because we're like, we want a sisterhood. We want this sisterhood for our community. Right. And to just stay true to our mission and our values and never let anything alter that.
Amen to that. Well, you know, the season has started, and before you know it, Super Bowl will be here. What do you have coming up for Super Bowl?
So we have a lot. We have our NFWA. we, you know what? We're also very excited to show up for everyone in the community. A lot of us walk in the off the field fashion show, which is always
I'll be there walking as well.
You know, we love that. It's so exciting, so fun, such a great experience. If you're an NFL wife and you've never done it, please sign up because it's so much fun.
100%.
Inside Lines, you have your podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
That you always do, and we love attending that. We do have our NFWA Lounge. We launched it last year at Super Bowl. We are bringing it back this year. It is co-ed. It is sponsored by the NFL women's community, and it's just going to be much bigger, much better. The guys can come so they can have a good time this year. So that'll be amazing. We're looking forward to that. We're also doing a partnership with the Trust Locker Room Lounge for our NFWA Lounge. So that'll be really exciting. And then we are doing another partnership with an organization called The Pregame, which is something I started with a couple of counterparts. We launched that event at Nordstrom in Las Vegas. Actually, I lied. We launched it in Los Angeles at the Webster store. And then we did it at Nordstrom in Las Vegas. And what it is, it like merges the intersection between fashion and sports. So we are doing a partnership with NFWA now for that event. It'll be at this huge mansion, and we're just excited to kind of roll that out and what that looks like.
Well, let me know. Send me the deets.
I'm sending you everything, okay? Awesome. And we're excited to just show up, right? Like just show up, be there. Super Bowl is so fun.
It is.
And we just love supporting all of the organizations on the men and women.
I love the fact that we all can come together and just hang out and really enjoy each other because, you know, I feel like the season is so rigid that it's just, the guys can finally just relax. You know, we know only 2 teams make it out of the 32, so everybody else can just come and enjoy themselves, which is the way it's supposed to feel, 100%.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll definitely keep everyone posted on Instagram.
Okay, yes, please do. Okay, let's talk about this because I think this is important. You know, when you talk about all that you've done and you think about your legacy, both in business and community leadership, what impact do you hope to leave behind?
So, okay, as someone asked me this on a panel that I did, and it was they worded it differently, but they were like, you know, what does Amber want to leave? What is your legacy?
What's your legacy?
And it's so funny because in my deep, deep thought prayers that may not come out of my lips, but in the back of my mind, I'm always like, I want to make a difference in people's lives. Like, I want to really be a change in our community and not just the like NFL wife community. I mean, in our community, again, I'm a girl from the 100%. South side of Chicago. Yeah. So I've always said, like, if I leave this world knowing that I had a positive impact on just one person, I will feel great about myself. And beyond the leader, the CEO, all of that stuff, like there's a lot of titles we can put out there, right? Like beyond all of that, I want to change. I want to make change. Yeah. I've dealt with so much from, you know, I was a product of childhood abuse. I deal with this discrimination in corporate America, you know, now dealing with some of the things and challenges with my son being on the spectrum. Like there's a lot that I just had to overcome as a person. And statistically, I probably should be somewhere else or not who I am today, statistically, especially, you know, growing up on the south side of Chicago. Statistically, I shouldn't be the Amber Staples that I am today. So my goal is to impact all those young girls that were abused, all those young girls that are in corporate and feeling unseen and feeling unheard, all those women that are going through transitions and are scared and don't know if they'll make it. I hope that I can influence and kind of let them know that it's all going to be okay. It's going to be all right. It's going, the way that your path is supposed to work out has already been set for you. Yep. So all you can do is walk it and have faith and know that everything will work out. You know, if I could whisper back into 7-year-old Amber that was scared, that literally was in a ball in a corner because she was getting abused, you know, I want to tell that girl, let me tell you what 36-year-old Amber looks like. With her curls were curly. You would be so proud of that girl. Get up out that corner. You are bigger than this, and you are going to make it. You are absolutely going to make it. So I just, when you go through so much, your goal is to really just be the change that you wish you had for yourself.
That's it right there. That is it, right? You look back and you're like, what can I change to make someone else's life easier? And that's amazing that you're doing that. All that you're doing is awesome. And you already know we'll be there supporting y'all. And it's been great getting to know you over this time. But before you leave, we have to play a game called the 2-minute drill.
Okay.
And it's just a way for people to kind of get to know a little bit more about Amber.
Okay.
So I'm going to start the 2-minute timer. And, okay, you ready?
Yes.
Music or silence?
Silence.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
On vacation, do you enjoy the mountains or the beach?
Beach.
Do you wake up early or are you a night owl?
Early.
Same.
Yeah.
Tell us one of your favorite memories as a mother.
Ooh, giving birth. It was, I had an emergency cesarean, so it was very traumatizing. But I'm going to tell you, I've never cried as hard as when that baby got into my arms. I had to do IVF. It was a long journey to get pregnant. And to see the product of our creation after going through so much to get pregnant, the best feeling. I can't even explain it.
Amen. Nothing better than your babies.
Yes.
Guilty pleasure TV shows or a movie?
Ooh. Sometimes I turn on my Love and Hip Hop. I do love a good movie. I'm in the theater kind of girl. Like, I like still going to the movie theaters, getting my popcorn and sitting in the theaters. I love scary movies, which is so random, but I do love scary movies.
Girl, I don't know how y'all love scary movies. They will have me traumatized, okay?
My sister and my mom, they're the same way. They're like, no, thank you. But yes, it's a balance of both. Because then sometimes my guilty pleasures be too much. I'm like, y'all are stressing me out. Because why is she talking to her that way?
Oh, that is hilarious. Okay, most inspiring person in your life right now?
My husband.
Oh, I love that.
So he has gone through so much. He has overcome so much. And I've never felt less of a priority through everything he's going through. I've never felt like I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be Amber, And it's easy when your husband's going through a lot for you to take on that burden, and you go through a lot too. And when my husband sees that I'm doing that, he could feel and sense that I'm absorbing some of the challenges that he's overcoming. He makes it so that I don't. He shows me and does everything he can to alleviate that stress and alleviate, whatever I'm feeling or going through. And I'm just so proud of him. Like, he's accomplished so much, and the obstacles that he's overcome and that where he's at now, I'm just really proud of that man.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. That's amazing. Okay, this is the last question. If you could master a new skill instantly, what would it be?
I would love to read people's minds. Is that crazy?
That would be good. That would be a good one.
Let me tell you, okay, from a business standpoint, right? I'm not even trying to get the tea on everything because I don't really know how everyone feels about me. From a business standpoint, there are so many relationships that I start fostering when we're talking through sponsorships. And you can kind of gauge this person is not going to, they're not going to. You
can feel it, right? Yeah. It's a feeling, 100%.
Right. I would love to know so that I could tailor the conversation to what is appealing to you. Or if a client is upset and doesn't want to say it, I need to know that. I can't change or alter what I'm doing without knowing. And sometimes people are scared to. I'm not scared to speak my mind, but a lot of people they just don't want to be transparent out of whatever they're feeling. And I'm such a transparent person, and I love feedback. I'm a feedback driven person. So you give me feedback, I'm going to take it and run with it. So I would love to just know, like, the real, like, do you really think I'm
Are you just saying that? Are you just saying that?
Do you think I'm too much? Should I tone it down a bit? Is the Southside girl getting a little bit too out here right now?
What is one thing that people don't know about Amber Staples?
We talked a lot about my childhood and like my corporate adversities that we had to overcome. The one thing I want to say is I'm a girl from the South Side of Chicago that has been through so much. Abuse, being in DCFS custody, watching my sister be sexually assaulted. You know, there's a story behind who Amber Staples is. And you see this NFL wife, you see this president, this CEO, this boss woman, and there's not all glitz and glam there. There's a lot of pain there that Amber is constantly, I have a therapy session every Thursday with my therapist. There's a lot of pain that Amber deals with. There's a lot of insecurities that Amber deals with. So I know we probably expected the fun part of this question, but you know, there's a real human here. And yes, you know, I love the person I have become, and I'm so in love with this version of Amber, this 36-year-old, vibrant, say what she feels Amber, but I had to overcome a lot to get to this point, and I'm still fighting to keep this Amber here. I've dealt with depression, I've dealt with anxiety, been clinically diagnosed with both, on medication before, I've had suicide attempts before, you know, and through all of that, it literally helped to mold the person that I can be proud of today. So you see the glitch, you see the cool part, the glamour, the titles, but you don't realize that behind all of that was a scared little girl who didn't even want to go home after school, who, you know, was scared of just even being in her house, who didn't know if she would get a meal.
Well, you know what, Amber, like listening to all that you've overcome, it is very inspirational. And I know that there'll be someone that wants to reach out. And so if they do want to get a hold of you, where can they find you?
Yes. So my email is CEO@stapled with a D as in David, events.com. Email me. My Instagram is @AmberRoxy. I do check my DMs. I don't know when my follower count got into the Ks, but I promise you guys, don't let that like gaslight you. I literally check every DM. I look at every message. And if you don't hear from me for a couple of days, it's just because I haven't seen it, because I'm not always on Instagram.
Well, I'll make sure to add that in the show notes so that they know that. And thank you so much for gracing the podcast. You are amazing. I'm so glad we were able to finally have this conversation. Yes. And I wish you the best of luck in everything.
I love you. I want to say this before you stop the recording, because this needs to go on to say this. Atoya, you have been so supportive. So, like, when we think of the word sisterhood in this community, you really embody and you walk that path of sisterhood. And I just want to give you your flowers at the end of your podcast, because you literally, like, the platform you build for us, the care and support that you have, your new book. I'm just so like honored to be a part of this with you, and to be able to call you my friend, to be able to be someone that I know I can text anytime, and anytime I need something, I know I can lean on Atoya. It means the world. Like, we are so honored to just even have you in this community. So thank you for all that you do.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you're right. Like, whenever you need anything, please reach out to me. You know, I'm here. I'm here to support y'all. You're all younger than me. I'm the OG, the old lady. So
and you don't look at, like, come on.
If you ever need anything, listen, I'm 10 years ahead. I've probably been through it. Feel free to reach out anytime. And I'm just proud of all of you ladies really understanding what sisterhood means and just supporting each other. It's beautiful to see. It really is. So thank you again.
Thank you.
That wraps up another exciting episode of Inside Lines Podcast. I'm your host, Atoya Burleson. Thank you for joining me in celebrating powerful women in and around sports. Your support really means a lot, and it helps us to amplify women's voices. So please remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you listen to the podcast. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Inside Lines Podcast, or check us out on the web, www.insidelinespodcast.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's conversations, but until next time, keep the conversation going, keep celebrating women, and here's to breaking barriers, building community, and being a voice in a world that needs you. Thanks for listening.